We have just touched the Harijan, and I know he's a Harijan. So I go to the home and I take a shower.
Hi, my name is Soraya. It's my first actual vlog by myself, so it's a bit weird. I'm not on a panel. But I really want to sort of speak about certain issues within the Asian community when it comes to racism. Black Lives Matter movement has really pushed certain things to the front of the issues, and I feel like it might be there's a lot of ignorance when it comes to racism within the Asian culture and towards black people. There was an influencer that sort of spoke out saying that she needs to educate herself a bit more and she wasn't aware. I don't know what part of the UK she was born, but racism is obviously, especially towards black people, is quite evident. But then racism amongst ourselves in our Asian community is so blatant. Like, I don't think you can be Asian and be ignorant to racism, because there's comments passed on a daily basis. Well, especially me being a dark Asian, I get it all the time. So I've been trying to speak up on the term, colorism in the Asian community. Now again, I find it weird that we call it colorism when it's actually racism. It's discrimination because of our skin tone within the Asian community. And I know some people say you can't be racist to your own race, but again, where have these races come from? Like, who's grouped these races together? Because me, as a Bangladeshi person, I'm very, very different to a Pakistani person in terms of culture, colour, facial features, a lot of things. So I've faced a lot of racism from the Pakistani community or the Indian community, and it stems so much deeper into it because of our history. And I think we have to really look into the history of where this racist sort of ideologies come from. Why I say it's racism is because it's not just that they won't want to marry us. It's not just, it is also that they will keep us as their maids, or they will feel like we can't be anything better. There's comments like, oh, you guys eat fish, you guys are fishmongers. There's a lot of issues with Pakistani people marrying Bengali people too. A lot of, if a Pakistani man chooses to marry a Bangladeshi woman, she gets a lot of abuse. I've had friends that have been called Black Witch because they've been Bengali. I've got a lot of Pakistani friends and I know they don't have that sort of ideology. I've got a lot of Indian friends that I know don't have that ideology. It's small things like that that we really definitely need to change within our communities. A lot of Bangladeshi people that are migrating, doing sort of becoming slaves, even for like in Saudi Arabia, even in the Middle East especially, there's a lot of Bangladeshis.
আমি মনে হয় বাঁচবো না, আমি মনে হয় মরেই যাবো। ওই বাসায় আমারে 15 দিন অন্ধকার করে আটকে রাখছে, কোনো কিছু খাইতে দেয় নাই, টর্চার করছে, মারধর করছে, নির্যাতন করছে।
What I want to do is raise awareness within my own community, the Bengali community, and sort of tell them to stop this, because I feel like we have to speak within. I can't change a Pakistani person's mentality, I can't change an Indian person's, but what I can do is speak to the older generation in the Bangladeshi community to make them realise that we shouldn't have this concept that fair is beautiful. So I don't know how many other South Asian people can relate to these terms or what's used in their culture, but in Bengali it's heavily said like, "O tu khala beshiroido boisna khaloizibe thore khe biya korbo igu shundor na igu khala." Like, it's so blatant. Like, they don't even shy from it. I go to Bangladesh and they'll be, you know, innocently asking me, "Oh, don't you use fair and lovely?" And it's like, these are comments that I have to deal with every day. Even the fact that my daughter is fair-skinned, people will say to her, "Ya tora maze khala tu shundor kiloile," and or tai ba forong failise. Like, my daughter doesn't need to be aware of these things. She doesn't need to know what complexion is and what's beautiful, what's not considered beautiful. She doesn't need to feel like her mum's not beautiful because she's not fair-skinned. So this is why it's important for us as the younger generation to educate our elderly member families and tell them and snap back. Even if you are the privileged fair one, snap back and say, actually, there's nothing wrong with being dark. So I've had a few conversations with black girls about the dark skin girl issues, and I was sort of explaining to them that that's exactly how it is in the Asian community. So I know a black girl will see it as, but you're still fair. But the only way I can sort of explain it is I will be the undesirable in my community. So Asian men would not actively go for someone who looks like me. So I understand your anger towards it because they put you down. It's the same way Asian men put down dark-skinned women or will proactively go for fairer skinned girls. It stems, so our sort of caste system and all of our ideologies stem back from the Indian culture.
But not everyone is open to change. There are still many people who discriminate on people from the Dalit caste, even if they do not work with impure things. They believe that getting in contact or being anywhere near an untouchable is polluting, and that will lower them to the same level as the untouchables.
Would you like be kids with friends with untouchables or?
No, I don't. I really don't like.
But for
I
example, would you shake hands with an untouchable person?
no,
Why? Because they touch.
because in my culture, in my culture is not allowed. We have just touched the Harijan, and I know he's a Harijan, so I go to the home and I take a shower.
Because they work with untouchable things.
Yes, because they are working. I know. I told you before. Because they are cleaning the street and they clean the toilet. We have a very special caste. This is so we call that Harijan. So everybody know that. When the kids born, they know very well because I explain when they born, this caste is good or this caste is not good, and you don't touch them.
And again, this bleaching is heavily in our countries across Asia. Like, it's in our media. All our women are fair. All our women are beautiful. I've not seen a lot of movement in the Asian community trying to get equality for, or just sort of end that mentality that fair is beautiful. So I think the only way I will help my people come out of this concept that fair is beautiful is by me proactively speaking, or our generation proactively speaking to the elder community and even our community back home to tell them that you don't have to, you shouldn't cuss your daughters for being dark. I mean, you shouldn't feel hopeless that your children are darker, and especially because marriage is such a big thing in Bangladesh. The only way a woman will progress is if she marries into a better family. There is no infrastructure for that woman to start. They're trying to do it now, but even then it's very limited. A woman can't get a job and start paying her own way. It's not like, she's still a burden on her family because until she is married, her dad and all her brothers have to pay for her expenses, etc. So it's a really big thing in our countries back home, and we need to not let women feel inferior or even when they get married to be treated like because their mother-in-law thinks they're ugly and they should be happy that their sons married them. So I thought I'll do a little message in Bengali. সো সাসা সাসি মামা মামি খালা সবাই আমরা বেশি আমরা বাঙালি মানুষে আমরা রঙ্গর লাগি আমরা চিন্তা করি আমরা বাচ্চাই নইয়ালে আমরা খোয়াইয়া এগু খালা হইবনি সাদা হইবনি আমরা বিয়াত গেলে আমরা কই মুইয়াই খইনা যে খালা অন্যসে যে সুন্দরী খইনার বাইদি চাইলো কিলা এটা জিনিস আমরা হরানি লাগবো এখানে আমরা ইসলামও লেখা নাই যেন আমরা খালার সাথে বাঁচিতাম একদিন আমার আম্মা কইছেন আমি সাহায্য করমনি এক বিয়ার লাগি এক ফুরির নিরানা তাই খালা শিক্ষিকা আমার খুব দুঃখ লাগছে এখানে এটা জিনিস একজন এখানে নিতা না এক ফুরির এখানে নিতা না তাই রঙ্গল লাগি আমরা হুরুতাইন তরে স্পেশালি ফুরিন তরে নিয়ম নাই হইতাই যেন ছোট মান থাকি ও তুই যে খালা এই বাচ্চা তো হাসা মনে করবো এই বাচ্চা সুন্দর নাই আমারে অত মানুষে কইছেন ও তুই খালা আমার বই নাইন সাফ আসলা সাফ রং তারা নাক তার আসলো তারা রেখাও তারা সবে খালি কইতা সুন্দর সুন্দর আর আমি খালা আর আমার মা থুনিয়ালে আসি দেখিয়ালে কইবা ও তোর যে মায়া লাগে তোর গঠন সুন্দর হিজেন আমি সুন্দর নাই আমার গঠন সুন্দর আপনারা আত্মীয় স্বজনরাও হইও এটা বাংলাদেশেও মাত ফালাইতা এখানে আমরা চিন্তা করা লাগবো আমরা দেশ খিলা আগুয়াইতাম আমরা হসপিটাল খিলা হইতো আমরা রাস্তা খিলা ঠিক হইতো আমরা কত জিনিস আমরা দেশও আমরা ঠিক করা লাগবো আর এই খালা বাদ আর সাদা পালা এটার উপরে আমরা কোনো গুরুত্ব দিতাম আসলাম না আমরা খালি সমস্যা এখানে আমরা নোয়াখালী মানুষরে সিলেটি মানুষে দেখতে পারি না সো প্লিজ সব রকম ওইটা রঙ্গর বাইদি আর চাইতা না কত বালা মানুষ আসুন তারা রং ভালো হইলে তারার মন বালা আছে but yeah I'll say a little story time of my own experience when I was 8 and I went with my sister to her friend's house and I was her brother who doesn't even know me he came down the stairs and he asked my sister oh who is that and she was like oh that's my sister and he was like that can't be your sister she's so black he's a black Bengali and it really hit home because obviously I don't hear it from my family and this is the first time I've been out just say somewhere and there's been an external person that's come and said it to my face and I used to always get compared to my sisters always so yeah I really disliked it I started breaking down relationships within my own I didn't feel comfortable meeting any Asian people because I felt like there was a lot of Asian people who had this sort of even if they didn't say it they will look at you or they were making certain remarks and it made me feel really uncomfortable to a point that I never even said I was Bengali but yeah it really made me dislike the Asian community in general where I just would get anxious meeting someone new because I wouldn't know what if they were on the pro-black side of the community or the pro-white side. The media representation of Asian women, it's always been the sort of fairer. We need to have a louder voice in speaking up against it because here we're not treated as badly but in India, in Bangladesh and I'm sure in Pakistan these are ways of stopping people progressing. Poverty will always be there if we have a caste system. That in the media we need to be a bit more vocal. We need to have darker girls representing Asian but I do want to talk about other issues like double standards with preference over boys and girls mental health especially in the Asian community because we don't talk about that at all sexual abuse like things like this I really want to talk because I think as a British Bangladeshi I'm privileged to have a voice whereas my counterparts in Bangladesh won't and when I say or use the term lucky I'm talking about I'm privileged that I was born in this country and the path I've had the lifestyle I've had the education I've had the even though the discrimination I've faced discrimination either I have a voice I have food in my belly I can talk about bigger issues because the smaller things in my life are quite cushy I'm quite comfortable I've had the opportunity to live in a city that is so diverse and I get to meet so many people so I would like to use the platform to raise awareness and talk about things other than makeup and fashion so please let me know if you will be interested or if there is a topic that you want me to talk about I'm going to try to see if I can get some friends, so we can have more than just me, one person talking. So thank you for watching.